Welcome to another episode of Dollars and Dreams podcast. Today's podcast is sponsored by Loyal Origins. Stay loyal to your origin, guys. All right, we have a special guest with us here today. Introduce yourself.
Kody Skvarla, 22 years old, from Chicago and living here in Miami.
All right, so by the way, guys, if you guys, so I know Kody through one of my clients, Sam. We love you, Sam, by the way.
Shout out, Sam.
Shout out to Sam. And we met through, basically you being a roommate and whatnot, but also the fact that you build systems and whatnot, and you do credit as well.
Absolutely.
But mostly at the end of the day, I know at the end of the day, whew, damn, getting off that caffeine rush. I know you did want to talk about some things that you're working on right now. Do you have a current project that you're working on, correct?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things right now with my company being just under a year old, we're on track to do $1 million in funding in the first year.
Jesus.
So
Business or personal?
a mix of both.
Okay.
A mix of both. And then obviously we'll segregate things out as time goes on, but we're about 9-10 months old or so. And our goal is to hit that $1 million by the end of August, and we're on track. Actually, today just got my mom approved for $14,000 of 0% interest with Chase. So
Jesus,
that was awesome. Great little win today. A little $6,000 with one of my other clients Monday. So good little start to the week. Just got back from Malta on.
You let her know no purses, right?
Oh yeah. No, trust me. I'm like, she literally. I could show you the text. The next thing I had her do to remind me was literally set up an LLC. So we're doing that, working with the rental property, moving a little bit of money around with Schwab, things like that. I'm not going to talk completely about that, but I'm very, very excited for things that are going on. And the biggest focus is really just my company right now, scaling it to $1 million in the first year because we're able to help more individuals and entrepreneurs through that way. I just acquired a relationship that I'm looking to build with a relationship manager with Chase. That's going to be something where we're getting 50K approvals on single cards alone. So that alone that was like the missing piece. I actually got that text 12:36 when I was in Malta. I was laying there and I was talking to one of my friends and I was like, holy shit, this is the missing piece that I needed to be able to get there. So that's the biggest project, main thing I'm focused on.
And that's more for what? Building the relationship with Chase, correct?
Yeah, building a relationship and being able to acquire that 50K of 0% interest business funding. And then through the different partnerships we have, right? Let's say you have a client that I've got great credit, but I don't have the money. Awesome. Yeah. We've got 50K that now they can spend with you guys, or they can spend with one of my guys in the crypto mining space.
Gotcha.
Right? Or again, media, marketing, advertising. You could liquidate the card. I'm not a huge fan of that, but putting into AI, things like that as well, which we'll probably get into at some point. But yeah, just being able to leverage that ideally in a business that's already cash flowing because you have something that has a proven track record.
Right.
Rather than something, let me just try this because I'm not a huge fan of let's go into debt for a new idea, but if it has 3, 5, 10 years behind it and it does well, yeah, let's throw fuel to the fire.
Do you base it off of personalities when it comes to the investment strategy?
I do, and I look to see the person I'm working with, where is their mindset at? Are they more short-term? Are they long-term? For example, I had a call with this guy yesterday. We spoke for 45 minutes. He's just going through the credit repair side of things. He's like, I just hired a financial coach. Let me go through some of these things. But he's like, I'm not trying to rush anything. I'm like, nice. And he's dropping these little hints, right? And I was just like, I want to commend you for having that long-term thinking ahead of time. So that's the biggest thing. And I won't even get clients approved for cards if they're like, hey, can I get approved for X amount? I'm like, cool. What do you want to do with it? I don't know. I just want the money. I'm not getting you approved for it then. Like, I don't need the money. I don't need to get you approved because what you're going to do, kind of making the joke about the purses, is you're going to go misspend this. That's not my goal. My goal is to educate and enrich people so they can spend this the proper way so you can actually have a cash flowing business, not just screw yourself and put yourself into debt.
Do you have partnerships on the back end that you have relationships with? For example, I know that you do, but if I'm coming on board, you fix my credit, we do the funding. Do you line up some options like, hey, listen, you could invest in this, probably get a certain percent rate, this, and this, and then you have those partnership deals on the back end?
Absolutely. Yeah. So on the credit repair side for people more like front end, let's say, and then obviously myself focusing on the personal side for credit and then the business funding as well. We don't charge up front. We take 8% on the back end because we want to focus on the performance-based side of things. We don't just want to be like, hey, pay us 3K or 5K or 10K for this, and we're going to get you however much you want. We're only going to get you what you need. So for example, with one of my clients, this is a perfect segue into that actually. I have a guy who does fantastic with Amazon and Walmart stores. Right? It's about $25,000 for a store. I got my client approved for $31,000 worth of funding because he only needs that amount right now. We moved some limits over. He ended up getting about $35,000 or so total between Amex and Chase. Super simple, but it was the amount that he needed. There was no point, even though he had an 800 score, he could have easily gotten $80,000 to $100,000. but it would have been a disservice to him, because if I get him, let's even say 50,000, but he only needs to spend 30, now we just wasted $20,000, because as soon as you get the 0% interest, the time is ticking. So that's the biggest focus. But going back to your point, on the Amazon Walmart store side of things, crypto mining, the trading, the AI side of things, as well as then even media, marketing,
This is true.
advertising.
Listen, the
things
trading
like that.
AI is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And if for the audience members that don't know this, like most people, like when they invest in trading and forex and whatnot, you know, they have somebody that's trained that goes and does like the losses, the wins, and stuff like that. But you have to be a trader to invest into these things. You can't just like nilly dilly just hop into it and whatnot. You'll
And
lose.
that's why, like, I vet the people I work with, but also the people I take on. Because if you know nothing about trading, hey, I just want passive income, that's cool and all, but then you're going to be that person to ask me 101 different questions, and I don't want you losing money because of not having the education behind something. And for me, it's not worth the money for the headache then as well. So I'd rather save you, being the client, as well as myself, from dealing with that. I only really want to work with the people that have that mindset. If you don't, that's fine, but I can refer you to a business partner or an affiliate.
They're the worst investors. Like they're on top of you for like, oh my God, it's going up. Oh my God, it's going down.
So,
Like,
yeah, that's part of it.
yeah, it's like literally how it is. With the AI though, it's what, 3 to 4% or what?
Yeah, it ranges, so about 3 to 5, 3 to 6%, depending on, again, the settings where things are being tweaked overall.
Okay.
So about 3 to 7% a month, which is great. They had talked about potentially upping it. I'm not a huge fan of that, but about 3 to 7%.
So 3 to 4% for prop firms or for live management?
I don't do anything with prop firms. So I know a lot of people like prop firms, RPF, MFF, FTMO. You got first class, like you got all these different ones. Funded trader. I understand how prop firms work on the back end, so I personally don't like it because it doesn't make sense. Because if a prop firm wins, you lose. If you win, the prop firm loses. So there's only, in my opinion, and I could be completely wrong. If I am, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's a certain longevity when it comes to prop firms and trading software, whereas on a broker itself, especially with something like the software we have, you can put that on any broker. So you can put that on any broker you want, and you're fine, rather than being stuck to a prop firm where, oh, sorry, you broke this rule, or you did this after you spent a month or 2 months or 3 months. For example, if I've had people that I work with on the credit side that got into previous AIs in the past, that they requested a withdrawal from a prop firm on March 6th. They didn't get paid out till the beginning of May, so about 2 months. That was just the withdrawal period, let alone the fact that they got started back in December or January. So now you've essentially wasted 5 to 6 months. Yeah, you get some of the money back, but time is way more valuable than money. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of prop firms, but more on the cash account, absolutely. I love cash accounts.
I think it just really comes down to how like you leverage it. So like
100%.
for example, like most traders are traders. Like I tell people, most videographers are videographers. So like, you know, like most they'll be technical.
They're good at their craft.
They'll exactly. So they can't see big picture and they can't see investments.
Correct.
Even though they, you know, they can try to step back, but they won't. So like for people that don't know what prop firms or propriety firms are, basically brokerages that you can trade on the open market, and they give you certain risk factors and certain things, and there's certain times when you can withdraw, what you can't withdraw. There's a lot of rules and regulations that come with it. It's not simple as buying one and getting withdraw. Even though if you do think about it in simplistic ways, it basically is like that.
Correct.
You buy it, you do the withdrawal, you do the risk. Now, the way I set mine up is basically like I have a YouTube video that I started that's my road to like 3.4 million funded. Nice. So I'm at 200K right now. We're going to slowly work our way out. But the whole goal is like, I'm not a trader, nor do I ever want to be one. That's someone else's headache to deal with. But like, if you keep buying them over and over again, you can put that into a PAM, which is the cash account basically that you speak of, and have that leverage on the open market.
Yes.
And then you can risk however, you know, you want. But it's a great way to start growing it.
Yeah, it's good to start. And again, the biggest thing though, before anything, is getting educated, making sure you actually know and can understand what these things are, what the parameters are, what the risk factors are, what is the potential upside. Does that then make sense in terms of risk, right? Because everything in life is about risk to reward and stacking the chips in your favor as much as possible and focusing on the things that you can control. So one of the quotes that one of my mentors taught, or one of the concepts, let's say, is that you should be spending 80 to 90% of your energy on the things that you can control, 10 to 20% on the things you can influence, and 0% on the things that you can't influence.
Absolutely.
So with that, you need to focus on controlling all the information that you have access to and how you can educate yourself currently to be able to put yourself in that situation to understand then, okay, if this is the risk, what is the potential reward? Does it outweigh it? Yes? Okay, then let's do it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, okay, I'm not going to do it because it's going to save me not only just money, but more importantly, time and understanding the opportunity cost to that as well.
No, 100%. Yeah, like that's the only way to do it investment-wise, so to speak. I know you do platforms. I know you do credit. What about your personal life? I know, like, you've been killing it. You're very low-key. And by the way, he's been killing it content-wise. For somebody that tries to do a lot, like, I have to commend him for jumping onto the content game and keeping consistent with that on your own. It's not easy, but you've been doing very well for yourself.
Thank you. So, yeah, like personal, you were saying?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go personal wise? You want to go like family? You want to go travel? We could go like there's.
Are you in a relationship?
No. Working on things.
Married to the game?
Yeah. Again, I'm not opposed to things, but everything is the right time. And when the timing is right and the right person comes across, cool, right? If it's there, awesome. If not, again, kind of married to the game, like you said. That's my main focus right now. And even when that right person comes, it's still my business over that because my whole focus. I was actually talking to my mom about this yesterday because she was driving downtown Chicago because I'm from the Chicago suburbs. She was meeting with some of her friends. It was like an hour and a half down there. So we were talking for an hour and a half, and then I was running calls. And then later that night, I think it was like 9:30 last night, we talked for another like hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes. Like the relationship my mom and I have is phenomenal. Like, love it. So then we were talking there. Then we ended up talking, I think it was like for 2.5 hours or something then today as well. So between the last 2 days, we've talked for almost 6 hours. Right. So my point in saying that, I was talking to her about this last night. I know exactly what I want, or at least a rough idea of down the road. Not, okay, I'm getting married now or having kids now or anything like that. But I know I want a wife and kids at some point, and I want to leave a legacy. Right. Like the Jewish proverb says, like every man should write a book, plant a tree, have a son. Right. So like those are 3 things I know I want to do. And with that, there's certain morals, values, and principles I want to instill in that where I can't control the timing, but all I can do is I need to focus on my business because growing myself and growing my business is going to be that thing that helps me provide and leave that legacy 50, 80, 100, 200 years down the road for my kids, my grandkids, things like that. I mean, the biggest thing that one of my other mentors has taught me is just reverse engineering it, right? Being very specific and very clear where you may not know the exact goal, but I've got a framework of what I want. I've got different notes on specific things I want in a spouse or in kids or different morals, values, principles that I look for someone, even in a running mate as a business partner, for example. So there's specific things I look for. And if you don't match that, that's fine. It's not, oh, I don't like you. I hate you or anything. No, it's not like that at all. But there's specific things I want. And if I see this, like, sorry, there's some non-negotiables. I don't want that. So kind of going back to that, if something crosses the plate at the right time, awesome. If not, my business comes first, my growth comes first, because this is the thing that's going to leave a legacy, and one person is not worth your family name, your legacy that you're looking to leave.
Yeah, no, it's easier to replace a girl than a business.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Like there's
So
way too much.
The business is your kid. Like I spent the last, I'm 22. I turned 23 a week from today.
Dude,
I mean,
so oh my God.
So like with that, like I've always been entrepreneurial. So like I dropped out.
By the way, he used to do MLMs, guys. If you guys don't know what that is the whole pyramid scheme.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love that. We love building pyramids. Like might go back to Egypt, get some content there.
By the way, when you do that, do you have somebody that goes with you? Or do you have to do everything yourself?
No, so I've done everything myself. So this past trip was more seeing a friend and doing the content myself. But it's something I'm looking at potentially doing as we scale as a company. Also, depending on where we're going, what we're doing. But it's definitely something I'm open to because like I've been traveling. I've been very blessed and fortunate in that regard with my uncle being a cruise director and then being able to go on cruise ships. And like my first cruise was 5.5 weeks. When I was 10 years old. And we actually the reason I know this is we left the day after bin Laden was killed. Cause I remember Obama talking about that. Like it's a clear memory that I have. That's actually one of my like very profound childhood memories was literally bin Laden being killed. Because then the day after we flew from O'Hare to Mumbai, India, and then started that cruise a couple days later, all throughout the Middle East, the Suez Canal, the Mediterranean, 5.5 weeks, then up and ended in England.
Wait, what's your nationality again?
I'm a mutt. I'm mixed. So like my dad's Filipino, Swedish, Irish. My mom's German, Irish, and then some other just like UK-ish, like British, French.
From actually from Europe or like or
No,
like more from
like
the States?
more stateside.
Okay.
Yeah, like my great grandpa on my mom's side was, I think, 100% German, but like he came over here when he was younger, so like pretty much everyone's more Americanized than anything. So like a mix of a lot of things. But then my my mom's stepdad is Swedish, so then there was that aspect as well, where I've got family now in Sweden as well. So I've got 5 cousins over there, aunts and uncles, of course, as well. So like one of the biggest childhood memories or the most sentimental values that I have is the summer house that they have over there in the Swedish archipelagos. I actually have the tattoo of the island on here, and I told my brother this, and I don't think I've said this on camera
Younger
before.
or older?
Younger. He's 2 years younger, which, to digress really quickly, he backpacked through Europe and just went to a few other countries with his friends. So he's 2 years younger than me. He's got like 2 more or 3 more countries on me, which kind of pisses me off. Just like, you know, like a little sibling rivalry and like a brotherly type of deal. Cause I've been to 36. I think he's at like 38.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Like, I'm like, dude, like, cause being the older brother, you want to win in specific areas. Like there's things you care about and there's things you don't care about. That's one of the things I care about. I'm like, I need to beat you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just in a friendly, competitive way. But going back to that, like I'm going to buy my grandparents' summer home at one point. I know that, whether it's 10, 20, 30 years down the road, because of how much value it has to me. And because I've
10 to 20 years. What do you mean? Your grandparents, bro. They're not going to be here in 10 to 20
No. So the house now is actually in my uncle's name. So my grandpa's son's name. So it's, I'm going to end up buying it from him. I think I told my mom, I don't even think I told my mom this. I don't know. I have to look into it. Here's the thing.
I'm so big on that. Like people tell me their goals and I'm just like, yo, break it down right now.
I am the same way. I'm very, very green, very analytical.
Yeah.
That's one thing though. I don't really care the number, like because of the sentimental value that it has from when I was 2 months old, 2 years old, 5 years old, 8 years old, 12. Like it could be $1 million, it could be 2 million, it could be $500,000. I don't care. I'm buying that one day. And it's something that like I'll be able to look back on this down the road 20 years, 30 years, 10 years from now, whatever it is, and be like, I said it, I spoke it into existence, it's happening. Yeah. So, yeah, I've been very, very blessed with, again, grandpa, with uncle, to be able to travel so much with my grandma as well. So, yeah, that's really helped.
Is there any spot specifically that you want to, like, if you could buy them a home, let's say tomorrow, if you had the money?
A spot in the world that I would buy them a home?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or is it that specific spot?
It's that specific spot. Like I want that as a summer house. Like not in the winter time, but literally the summer months we can go there. Like if I've got a spot here in Miami, okay, cool. If Miami becomes more degenerate in the next 20 years, okay, maybe we'll find somewhere else, right?
How do you feel about living somewhere else? Because that's where I'm going. Like,
so okay,
like the way things are flowing and whatnot. Do you think like you want to stay here another 3 or 4 years?
For the near future, let's say the next 12 to 24 months probably. Yeah. And then we'll see how things happen with
the world
as a whole. Yeah, we'll just say that without being very, very specific, because I like Miami. I like how some things are going, but the world as a whole is ever changing so quickly. And it's something that I can't necessarily make a decision of, hey, I want to be here in 3 to 5 years in a specific location.
It's crazy because I'm at a point where I'm out. Like, and I'm an immigrant myself, and you know, we came here with the whole sense of, you know, opportunity and whatnot, and home for me has always been like where the people are, like,
people over everything,
and it's crazy. Like, dude, even meeting the people here in Miami has been great, but it's all about the longevity, and I know you know that too. Like, like if you know, I'll probably see you 10, 20 years from now. Like, you know, like I'll see you at dinner, but like, there's just a lot of like relationships that I wouldn't like really like take that far. So location wise doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the location, and I think especially with our line of work and everything we do, oh my God, it's so awesome. Like it was midnight, I was in Malta in my hotel room, I got a client approved, and it was her first like big bank card, and it was like 3x her highest limit so far, and she was so ecstatic. But being able to help people, and they're here in the States, and then I'm abroad traveling, or even if I was living somewhere else, the time freedom is amazing. The location freedom is the thing the most important too, because
Are there
it allows
regulations on
you-
that or no?
No, not
No.
really, because I'm still working with U.S. based clients.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I only really work with U.S. based clients for the most part, like 99% of people. But I could do it from anywhere and everywhere in the world.
That's awesome. Man.
So even with you, again, having that location freedom to be able to then spend time with those you love and the ones you care about, that's the most important thing, because
That's what I'm
people over
saying.
everything.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We were talking about it the last person I was on podcast, that traveling is like, I guess, more insightful than experiencing what's
Oh,
here.
100%. 100%. Because so in college and in the past, I would debate a lot. I love debating with people, right? Because Andrew Tate was talking about this in his interview recently with PBD. He's like, you have to be a master communicator, right? You have to be very persuasive. You have to be good at arguing, but you also have to be good at debating. And debating is something as I've always been drawn to. And I've had these conversations about problems that are happening in America or worldwide. I'm like, you come from this view where you've never left the country. Maybe you've left one or two things, but I've experienced, fortunately, like the more lavish side of things, but I've also been to the favelas in Brazil and see how poverty stricken it is. And I've done that in 36 different countries.
Yeah.
So being able to see the wide variety of things, I have a greater world view rather than someone that's only grown up even in, let's say, a big city like Chicago or Miami.
Oh,
Right? Yeah, it's
absolutely.
very culturally diverse, but you see different things,
No, it's 100%.
and it shapes your perspective. So with that, when you travel, it gives you that greater view of how things really work. But it also, on the cool thing, going back to people, you build relationships with people all over the world, where you may go to Australia or you may go to Spain or France or Italy, and like you could, well, hey, I'm gonna go grab dinner with you, or go grab dinner with that person. Just like you said, 20 years down the road, we might be in South America. Yo, we're in Argentina, or we're in maybe not China, right? But we're in wherever other place. Yo, you're here too. Oh, let's go grab dinner, right? Like that's the most important thing, is with the people. And it's cool to obviously be in cooler places, but again, building relationships with people is key.
One of my business partners is Muslim. Shout out to Ali. I will forever shout him out. But I'm saying, like, our entire team, like, was all over, bro. Like, Europe, UK, like, different areas in the States and whatnot. And I think it's crazy because, like, we met up for the first time. And Sam was there, too, you know. We all met up for the first time. But everyone's on that same wavelength where, like, it's like we're not talking about the next, like, what's going to happen next week and stuff like that. We're talking about every play that we're going to execute on now. And that's such an amazing feeling, because it's just like, yo, like, dude, we come from all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of regions, shit like that. And we're still on that same, like, yo, like same mission, if that makes sense, like life mission. And, bro, it's so refreshing, first of all, because Miami won't fucking find that ever. It just happens that, you know, basically happens that even the relationship that I met with you, like, I'm just like, what the fuck? And everything has its purpose. So I agree, like, you need those different perspectives to really have a overall view of things. But you also need to understand, like, people's like living stance, you know, like it's crazy. You said, like, yo, like the favelas in Brazil, dude, I come from Colombia as well, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, and, you know, just to kind of just touch into it, but not to touch too deep, but like police corruption is always talked about, especially in America. But guys, it's nothing.
Like, South America,
like like nothing compared to like the stuff that we deal with in, like, our countries, you know. Like, bro, I remember the first time my mom, like, saw, like, things on TV, like, when it comes to, like, police brutality and whatnot. And my mom's like, wow. Like,
you're like, yeah, if you actually understood what happens in all these other areas of the world that are televised and that are not televised, you'd be like, yeah, this is child's play compared to what's happening.
The corruption is crazy. Like, and it's crazy because, like, we're so used to media.
Of course.
Like, everything's documented. They're like, oh my God, it's so bad. Shit like that. It's like, yo, this 95% of the stuff that you don't see is what should be scaring you, because in most countries you can't even pull out your phone. Dude, I was talking to my cousin in Colombia, and then 5 minutes later, gone. I was like, what happened? I get a call from a random number, and she's like, my phone got stolen. I pulled out my iPhone. Like, you know, she's like, yo, dude, they have cases in Colombia where it's like, it'll be an iPhone, but it'll be like an Android case to hide the iPhone so that, like, no one's going to steal an Android, you know?
Of course.
And I'm just like,
smart though.
like, yo, like, crazy.
But think about what you just said with that. You don't even think about that here in the
Bro,
US.
that's what I'm saying. It's like the small
Again, the
things.
small things like that where you're like, oh, I just pull it out and like everyone starts recording.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But that's not going to be the same. Again, in some first world countries, yes. But second, third world countries, you do something like that, no, they're going to take it.
Yeah, that's why it's crazy. That's why I've been thinking about leaving. My partner asked me about it. He's like, "Yo, you want to move to Dubai?" You know, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I have nothing holding me here, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, when's your lease? Like, when's your lease end? And I'm just like, bro, I don't pay no lease. Like,
I'm just hopping around.
no, I have my I own a house, so like, and I
Okay.
have like tenants that pay for it. So I've
Yeah.
been house hacking.
Oh, perfect.
So it's just like I don't have no lease. So I'm like, this is crazy. And more onto like, yo, that's why I was asking you if there's regulation business wise, because they're
Yes.
like, hey, what if you go to like, what if you're living from Dubai? Like, can you still like do credit
Absolutely.
consulting and stuff like that
Yeah.
in other state or like as long as your clients are U.S. based?
Correct. Yeah. So there's things we can do with like Australians or people in the UK or Canadians. It just takes longer. And for me, that's something that I've looked at, but that's probably like a 3 to 5 year or like down the road, 3 to 5 years potentially, because my main focus again is hitting this million in the first year of our company's existence. Cause like, that's just huge. One, it's like, I'm not huge on like flexing things, but that's kind of a cool,
I
great
think it is
flex.
really cool.
But more so than anything, like it just shows that we know what we're doing in such a short time frame. Where before I got into and taking my first client on, I was already educating myself on credit for the last couple of years, but I was going crazy then, like investing $5, $10, $12,000 into courses, masterminds, mentorships, things like that to help myself for 6 months prior to then taking on my first client.
How much have you invested into yourself?
Okay, so I was talking about to my accountant. So last year I did, let's say around 60 to 65,000 last year alone.
Because I know like the last time we spoke, you said you were doing a course
Yeah.
or another mentorship.
Yes, yeah. So I've got like the personal credit growth mentorship, and then we've got the business side of things as well. That's the main focus for me. And then obviously the repair side, individuals like Sam or
Right.
my business partner Dalton or things like that, I'll send them over there.
When it comes to building your book, are you doing it via social media or what?
Yeah, everything's referrals. Everything's word of mouth. So everything's built off my reputation, my network, and then the people connected from that network as well. I haven't ran ads. I'm not opposed to it, but it's just so much better organically.
Absolutely,
People
bro.
see all this and they're like, oh, we have this genuine connection. Okay, cool. Let me refer this person over here, because not in an MLM way, but like if you send me business, boom, I'm able to pay you out. Like it's just
Yeah,
like that's what it
facts.
is. So creating that ecosystem, and then the biggest thing is partnerships.
Yeah.
Partnerships will change the game. Like I have a partnership with my buddy in the life insurance space. I'm speaking out in Nebraska later this month. It's
Shut
front of
up.
40 to 50
No way.
agents or so. So
Happy
that's
for
super
you.
excited. I'm super excited for that. I got a guy in the crypto mining space as well. Marketing, media, management side of things here. What was the other one? Amazon store again, Walmart store. So like a couple different options, and then trading in AI.
I thought Walmart stores were shut down.
They are, but there's a couple things you can do. More so focused on the Amazon and eBay side of things, but
Okay,
Walmart
okay.
also in there.
Gotcha.
More so Amazon and eBay.
Yeah,
though,
because I
for
know
sure.
a lot of people that got their stuff set.
Yes, a lot of them got clipped. Because I had one of my clients who's working with me on the credit side of things. He had a Walmart store, but was taking things from Amazon, and then his ended up getting shut down, which he was doing well for a little while, but again, Walmart was like, snip, snip, time to go. So that was not ideal. But yeah, having like those 5 different partnerships, and then also like I want to work with boring businesses. Like Kody Sanchez, the entrepreneur, she loves boring businesses. She acquires boring businesses.
What, like laundromats or
HVAC,
what?
laundromats, car washes, plumbing companies, water
What is
restoration.
HVAC? The AC thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you think about all these boring businesses, like think about trades.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people with quote unquote boring business because they see everything online. Oh, an entrepreneur doing this, that, the other. One of my boys is a car detailer.
Yeah.
He's been doing this, and he's like, I could use an extra 20K to spend on inventory because I have to keep buying things as I go.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to have all this inventory and have 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. But then guess what? When you do it properly, you can rotate it for 3 to 5 years then.
Right.
So especially with these businesses where it's like, yo, I've been doing my craft for 2 to 5 years. I'm cash flowing. I just need more gasoline to put on the fire.
Right.
It's not a brand new idea. Awesome. It's a lot easier to work with individuals like that as well. So starting to branch into that, but going back to the partnership side of things, partnerships are going to be the thing that change the game.
So what do you get, like a rev share on the back end or what?
Yeah, so like on business funding, we take 8% on the back end there, and then I pay out. There's a way, obviously, with the partnerships, we pay them for sending us a client, and then they'll pay us back as well. So there's a couple different things that we can do.
Yeah, because you could also do solar too. So solar guys always are looking for people that need capital.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a funding background, then yeah, you could always.
I've got a couple people in the solar space that I've thought about. I need to do more research a little bit because I'm familiar in some of these other things like crypto mining, like Amazon stores. Solar, I've done a little bit of research in. But also, I don't need to be the professional. I can just
solar is
help
just
them.
more government grants, if anything. So, like
Okay.
for example, if somebody has like a home, they can do either a government grant program or whatnot, and then they can pay out through that. But for the people that are like the solar sales guys that are selling the solar, but they're also the installer as well, they don't have those access to those government contracts. So what they would need is like if they're finding a lead or whatnot, they need someone that's going to provide funding on the back end. That's why I love like those events that people speak at.
Yeah.
But they always do it so ass backwards. I think I told you about this.
Yeah.
Where like they have the credit guys talk at the end.
I'm
when
like,
they-
no, you need them in the beginning.
In the
because
beginning.
This is the capital.
Yes,
Like, you're pitching
exactly.
me on all these, whether it's automated and or active streams. Like,
All people
I
think is
want to
money.
focus honestly on making active income great again.
Yeah.
Like, I think that because some people talk about passive income and it's cool, but even 2 to 3% a month, that's again, it's phenomenal money compared to what hedge funds are even doing. It's competing with that. However, you give up the control.
Yeah.
Where when we make active income great again, right, what we're then able to do is you have more control over it. Because if you can invest, let's even say you've got $10,000, right, and you're doing 2 to 3% a month, $200 to $300 a month. Let's even say you do 5% a month. That's doubling your money in a year, taking 10 to 20. Imagine if you invested 10K into yourself, into learning sales or learning copywriting or learning about building your own business or even into an Amazon store. Don't you think you could at least double your money? 3, 5, 10, 20x your money in that same course of time. So that's where some people want to be more entrepreneurial. Some people don't. But for those that have a little bit of it, I don't want to push you towards passive income. I want to push you towards active income. Like, what are you good at? Because it could be that, or it could be, let's get you into a sales role and get you to be a number 3 inside of an organization.
Yeah.
Or maybe number 4, number 7, or whatever it is. But a lot of that goes back to self-awareness. Yeah. And that's a huge part as well. But going back to your original point, though, I don't know why they start with all these ideas of like, oh, you can invest into this, and then we'll show you how to get the money. No, let's show you how to get the money now.
I've shot like 7 events in the last year, and they always have the credit girl, like speak or guy or guy or girl or whatever. Literally always at the end, and it's the worst part is the majority of people listening to their stuff don't have access to the money. So their first problem is like. They're like, oh my god, 30,000.
So they're already in the mindset of thinking, oh, well, I can't even do this.
They're coming from what's it called, a scarcity mindset.
Scarcity, yep.
So there you go. So it's like $30,000. I don't know where that's going to come from. Fuck. So by the second person they listen to, they know that there's going to be an offer and a price point.
Yep.
So they're already like, oh, I can't do this.
But
like,
their brain's already turned off.
Exactly.
It's not thinking about that where, okay, cool, you could have one person go and then, awesome, here's how you can access capital by leveraging credit. Oh, I never knew about this before. So I can leverage a 700, 720 score with no negatives on there and get $20, $50, $80,000 of 0% interest. Oh, and then I can actually take that and put that to work in my business. I'm paying a 1% minimum payment on these things, like with Chase, for example, where let's even say you get a $50K card, you max that out in terms of spend. You're paying 1%. 1% a month during that first 12 months. $500 a month, but you're able to spend $50. You put all that money to work. Obviously, you want to pay down the card, and now you're able to leverage that over time. And when you do it properly, you can rotate it for 3 to 5 years. So even if it doesn't work out, after 3 to 5 years, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. Go back to getting a job.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you have enough belief in yourself and you're doing the right things and you're being smart with it, you should easily be able to make that happen in 2 to 3 years maximum.
Yeah.
So take that. That's the second person that speaks. And now we've got Airbnb, or we've got an Amazon guy, or we've got a marketing guy, or we've got a media guy, or we've got whatever it might be. You can do one, and then like, oh, but how do I get this money? They start thinking, questioning. Boom, now we hit you with the credit or the funding. They're like, oh, that's exactly how. I don't have the capital now, but I've got the score. Awesome.
I tell people all the time, especially if they're speakers, you should just relate. Like every entrepreneur should have 5. Like the 5 people. You should have a marketer. You should have somebody that does credit repair. Funding as well, because both of them go together.
Yep.
and then you should have somebody that knows sales, like back of their hand. And then these are people that you should build relationships with, and then like always pivot your business in and out with them. And then that's how you build your business, like your book, without like doing everything yourself.
Because what you do is you're building a business, but the biggest thing that I stress to the people I talk to is I'm focused on building an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Again, when you bring this Rolodex of individuals together, now you've created an entire ecosystem. Like one of my mentors, Luke, like he's got that Rolodex of individuals. My whole thing is, okay, let's focus on creating that as a company. Let's create an environment, right? An ecosystem. So for example, started with the personal credit growth side of things, right? Once you grow that, then you can acquire business funding. But what are we doing? Well, we're leveraging 0% interest business cards. We also leverage personal cards. What are you earning when you spend all of the money that you have now on these cards? You're earning points. Oh, so this is the third part of our system then, is we take you from personal credit growth to business funding to then traveling using your points. And that's how, like, when I was flying to Malta, I had a business class flight that would have cost me $8,700, but it only cost me $570 because I leveraged Chase points. Some people would be like, oh, use those 110,000 Chase points as cash back. I think those people are idiots. like I'm just saying it is what it is.
Because that's the thing. Like whoever educates them, like most people
Correct.
that buy a credit card, bro, get educated by bankers. Bankers don't know fucking shit.
Not at all.
Like,
and it's like, cool, you could have $1,100 cash, or you could have the difference and be $8,200 for a business class flight. Which one would you rather choose? I would like the flight because you're living in luxury, but you're not going crazy and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. As an everyday individual, you're getting it through sign-up bonuses and your everyday spend. Or as an entrepreneur, again, still sign-up bonuses and your spend as a business owner. Mm-hmm. And that's how you can live more luxuriously. And now it's more content for you. You can even fly people out and fly them out more luxuriously if it's one of your top sales guys and reward them. Or there's so many more incentives. But again, it goes back to education. So that's our main focus and pillar is let's get you educated when it comes to credit growth, right? And understanding what is credit. How can you actually start to leverage it to get business funding, and then take that business funding, put it to work. Now, through all that spend, we've acquired tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of points. Now let's travel for free, right? The average person takes maybe 1 to 2 trips a year. Family trips, you're flying business or first class. For there are entrepreneurs, maybe you're taking a couple more every single year, but now you're getting status with these hotels, you're getting status with these airlines, and you're doing it at a fraction of the cost.
Right. Yeah, dude. You know what movie made me cry? The Biggest Short.
Yeah.
Bro, I never cried so hard in my life,
Really?
bro. It broke layers in me. And if you guys don't know what the Biggest Short is, it's basically a movie about like the crash in '08 and how it happened, how it was set up and everything like that. The reason I cried, right, is basically I didn't know. You know how you know about the '08 crash and stuff like that? Well, think about it like this. I'm, second generation immigrant. Mm-hmm. And, like, my mom came in during that time frame, right? So everyone in my age group has an entire generation of people that were told the banks, don't trust the banks, don't trust this, save your money, credit's evil, like, all this shit. And it broke that, like, because I never understood, like,
that paradigm you had.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, oh my God, like, I have all these people educating me on credit and stuff like that. And then, like, bro, as soon as I saw the movie, bro, I started crying because, like, she didn't know. They didn't know, bro.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You have an entire generation of people. That's why there's literally a statistic on this. I hate that fucking word. Statistic on this, where it's like almost like 75 to 80% of people that our age have, like, terrible credit.
Oh yeah.
Like, and the number is so bad. It's because we have an entire generation that basically said, fuck you to the banks. All right. And I was like, that dude, it made me cry. I was like, bro, like, this is crazy. Like, and it's not just me, like, bro, it's like an entire generation, bro.
Tons of people.
So, like, that's why, like, learning about it now, I'm just like, bro, I'm so, like, damn, like, game changer. I know that's a game changer for you as well.
That's why it's our big focus is to educate people because, like you said, most people aren't. And do I agree with you that banks are a scam and they're the biggest Ponzi and they're the biggest cabal in the world? Absolutely. They are a fucking scam. Pardon my language. But there's nothing that the layman like myself or you can do about that. So we just have to play the game. But there's 2 games in life, or there's 2 sets of rules. One's for the informed and one's for the uninformed. So if we're playing the same game and there's slightly different rules, what did I say earlier? I want to stack as many chips as possible in my favor. So I'm going to get as educated as possible to learn how to do this, because I can travel free. I can teach others to travel for free. But if we look at the vast majority of individuals, they have a horrible credit score or a poor credit score. They're in $5, $10, $20, $50,000 worth of debt, and they're the ones paying the bank all this money that allows them to allow me to travel for free.
Absolutely.
So in order to change that way of thinking, we need to focus on providing as much education as possible, but it's going to take time. This is a 10, 20, 30-year, 50-year process, because things like this don't change overnight. Like, we've seen the deterioration of public schools, or even just schooling in general, especially in the U.S. over the last 30, 40, 50 years. It takes time to break things down, and it takes even more time to rebuild it. So that's why if we can start now, especially focusing on educating children when their minds are the most fertile, not on all the BS that we see out there right now, which I'm not even going to get into because that's a whole nother podcast that we could literally talk for 5 hours on.
Yeah.
But teaching the right morals, values, principles, but also financially to set them up properly, which fundamentally goes against the current system. So
Absolutely.
That's a conversation at a different point.
No, 100%, 100%. All right, well, Kody, we're gonna wrap this up. If not, we're gonna keep going. It's been such a pleasure to have you.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, we're gonna turn them off for now.
Perfect.